Hey guys, happy Monday night. I don't know where everybody else is. I put a call out and Colton saw it, and that's it. So I assume he'll be here someday. Um, or he may not. Sometimes he just crashes, and I don't blame him. I assume Brian wants to be here at some point. I'm talking about him online. But even if they're not, we got work to do. Oh, I'll be there soon at TEG. Not sure what a TEG is. Anyway, we're going to get working here in a second. Hang on real quick. Um, there we go. I've got Donald coming in, I think. That's cool. Uh, there we go. Anyway. Hello. Oh, hey, Avalanche, you're up 5. You're you're doing my mom's job. My mom used to do that to me all the time. She'd call up out of the blue and just say, "It's 5-3 Avalanche." And then she'd hang up. Like that's the entire phone call. It actually was the one and only time that my wife answered the phone. Long before she was my wife, long before she was my girlfriend, long before we were dating, long before anything. She was just a buddy at my house. We were having a party. Mom called, she answered the phone, hello, and mom said, it's 12-4 Rockies. And then my wife said, "Who is this?" Like that. Boy, I didn't go over well with my mom. I heard about that one for weeks. I heard about that one over and over and over. Oh man, I heard about that. Oh boy, who is that girl? She's so rude. Oh, what's her problem? It was very funny. It's still one of those things that we've decided that had mom lived long enough to know that my wife and I had gotten married, she would have never liked her. It would have just been, we've decided just perpetual clash forever. So anyway, I don't know what a teg is, but anyway, I was doing this. Hey, I've got a pepper. I've got a pepper who's had a number of like negative, I'm not COVID anymore tests.
Not a number, just
one. Just one. But it's an
just
important one.
the first one of hopefully 2. I still have the cough.
Yeah,
But
you'll have the cough for a while, if
yeah,
as I understand it.
everyone's telling me that I'll have it for a bit.
It's no fun. This is not.
Yeah. But from what I gathered, yeah, I have an event this weekend coming up. So if I get a second negative test, then I will be in
actually attend it.
Yeah, I can attend it, and I'll be in Dallas this weekend.
Oh man, that's rough, bro. I mean, don't cough into the screen. He doesn't want us to give the computer
Give my
viruses.
computer device.
Yeah.
Well, I have a Mac, so it won't work on human viruses.
You say that now, but wait.
Yeah. So I am currently prepping for said event. Actually,
All right.
um,
I am trying an experiment here.
oh,
Yeah. So I've been, WLOP or whatever his name is, WLOP.
mm-hmm.
I'm a patron. And if you're a patron of theirs, and I'm not sure whether that's a male or a female, if you're a patron of theirs, they post their recording of them painting paintings in real time. So you can longer in person.
Okay.
I have over a while been practicing. I just put the video up here on this screen, and down here I try to do the same thing and see what happens. But I've been learning a lot of the skills that they use.
Okay.
So I am deploying said skills right now
Mm-hmm.
and seeing whether I can't kind of make this kind of a different effect and feel, and whether I like it or not. I might not. I'll have to see. But that's sort of what we're doing here. I'm just experimenting here and seeing what happens. So that's kind of one of the things I'm after today. Does this work?
Okay.
So anyway, that's my battle plan. It is a ploy that I'm deploying. Because I mean, really, that was like 5 seconds worth of touch up, and we've got some really nice effect on her face, right? I mean, she,
Mm-hmm.
has a kind of gives more depth to her face here,
Mm-hmm.
and that works really well. And all I did was just tap, 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 tap. Just a little bit of tap here, a little bit of a tap there, and we've got some depth in that face. It looks cool,
Mm-hmm.
Question is, how much time does it put into this, and do I really want to spend that time? So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I'm trying to kind of ascertain here. So yeah, that's my battle plan. You heard that Brian managed to finish volume 2 or issue 2.
I heard.
We'll see him in a minute, I'm sure, and hear all about it. He's going to want feedback on it, which is cool. And what we're here for, that's what's off here. That's our job. So that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. How's Bill doing?
Same as me. Pretty much.
You both got it pretty bad.
No, we actually got the lighter version of the virus.
Good.
So we didn't have to worry about
Respiratory failure, all that crap.
Yeah, it was just mainly. How should I put this? So we thought we actually had an upper respiratory infection,
right?
Because we were in Florida. It was windy out, and wind in Florida for both me and Bill causes us to get lung infections due to our allergies.
Makes sense. So you didn't think much of it at the time.
No, we seriously, we thought we just were suffering from allergies. We haven't been in Florida for a few years.
Right.
And, I mean, I've been back a little bit more than he has.
Sure. But in general, you hadn't been around there, and that makes some sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to a funeral um, when we were first down there, and then we were prepping for the event called Spookala, which I've been, that I was talking up, and I was really excited to go. And um, I'm one of the few people from the game that I work on that's actually from Florida.
Sure.
So everyone from Florida pretty much was like, "Oh, Pepper's gonna be here. Pepper's gonna be here," and I kept getting messages, and I was trying not to put anyone down. So the morning that the event is supposed to start, both. Bill looked at me and said, "We need to go and get like a Z pack or something because this is not getting any better. It's getting worse."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, let's go get a Z pack." So we go to get a Z pack, and lo and behold, we get tested positive for coronavirus.
Right.
So that was
Surprising. Stunning. Not the
oh,
development you were looking
I
for.
was I was pissed. I was so pissed. Like, you have no idea on how mad I was. I um I was so irritated, and I was like, I cannot believe you had me test for this. I would be going to, and I was mad because I couldn't attend the event.
Right.
Meanwhile, if I attended the event, I would have probably infected people.
Right. 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 Well, I mean, that's still a thing. It's like you did the right thing, even though it was stupidly irritating. And I completely follow you, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate you doing it, though. And I think a whole bunch of other people probably did too.
Well, I mean, everyone was like super supportive about it. I still ended up selling stuff. I gave it to one of the people that like I was staying at the hotel, and one of the volunteers for the event like was staying right next to me, so I was able to get stuff sold to people. Um, so it wasn't a total like you know like
Loss.
loss. I did do that, but yeah, I just it just sucked.
I'm with you.
I have like stashes of Ricola everywhere now.
Ricola. Not
Um,
gonna lie, like Ricola.
I do. I like Ricola more than I like Halls,
Yeah, I agree with that.
and I think it's because Halls taste more chemical.
Okay.
If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I'm now coughing due to other reasons.
Actors. Sounds like a thing. Well, I'm glad you're not dead. I'm kind of fond of you. I like you around. That kind of stuff.
Mm.
So,
Well,
just saying.
that makes two of us.
Yeah. You're like, I got things to do, man. I can't die.
Yeah. Um, I may have a switch up of my art goals. I'm still researching to see if I can afford what I want to do, but fingers crossed.
perpetually?
Basically, I am researching to see if it's viable to do in my area. Um, but it would be essentially, I would be um, opening a business uh, and not doing so much artwork.
Mm,
But it does pertain to art. So,
that's good. I'm not worried. If it's what you want to do, I'm in.
mm, yeah. So what's going on?
I got 8 pages in, and then I haven't done much today because it's been kind of a day. Had Geek Tank and all that stuff this morning, so
Mm.
it's that always slows me down a little. And Wild West Gallery and Comic Store.
Were you taking pictures for them?
No, that's Donald's suggestion for your name for your business.
No, it's not going to be a comic book store. I can assure you on that one.
That's just what he's recommending, man. That's what he's
Um,
recommending.
it's I haven't had all the details yet, but
It's all right.
it involves my watercolor making.
You don't need to tell us. It's all right.
It's fine. I don't mind telling you.
It's
I
a
have
secret. We understand secret. We get that.
I just have to see if it's viable for my area.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. 21st century, you really could pretty much just go online.
Well, that's what Bill is saying too, which I would have to start online. However, Bill is trying to get really high tech with it, and I'm trying to do things simply.
Yeah, well, and you are not the first married couple to have that problem.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
yeah. I mean,
This is a common fight between my wife and me. I don't know what your route is.
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and
And Bill can bite you.
nah. I think what it is he doesn't want me to do like I was thinking about getting a business loan, and after talking to a few peoples, I'm not going to be doing the business loan. However, I still need to figure out on how I'm gonna
Get the
do this.
capital.
Yeah, get the capital and do it all out of pocket. Which is fine. Like I don't mind doing it out of pocket, but the problem is it's out of pocket.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And it's going to be a lot of money, and I'm probably going to have to hire an employee, um, sort of deal. So
Hmm.
um,
I follow that. Yeah, hire Brent. I'm sure Brent would love that. Yeah, hire Donald. I'm already assigning you employees. Look at me. Aren't I awesome? I'm so useful. I'm a really useful engine.
well, if one of them can do accounting and the other one handle all the online sales, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, sounds like you need the exact same employees I usually need.
I mean, someone to cover your sales.
Nah, just the accounting part. I suck at that part. 2 and 2 equals 16, and I have a real problem with that. Okay. Before I waste much more time on this, let's take a look. What do we think? Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That actually looks kind of cool.
Is this the page?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just looking at, well, what I'm looking at is I've gone through and put shading in on these. The
Mm-hmm.
question is, do we like it? Do we not like it? Did it help, or did it help a little bit but not a lot? You know what I mean? Like it took an extra, I don't know, an extra hour on the page. So the question is it worth it? I'm gonna actually make it full screen. Is it worth it for that extra hour on the page? Because you're not showing your artwork probably because it's proprietary, and that's okay.
No, I'm just literally. I'm not even drawing. I'm
You're
making.
futzing.
I am preparing for an event that I did not make any prints for,
Yeah, those are the best.
so I'm doing sketch cards.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hmm. And by the way, wanted to say to Donald, I saw your post about going to McCoy's. That's pretty cool. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. We don't have music. I can tell because I'm not dancing, and neither are you. We're not dancing, Pepper. Well, now we have creepy Scooby Doo music, so you'll like that. That fits you.
Yes, creepy Scooby Doo music. I'm in love with an ostrich.
It happens.
And if you guys don't know what that lyric means, you're not a true Scooby Doo fan.
I don't know what that means. I am not a true Scooby Doo fan.
So Scooby Doo has this song in one of the shows episodes where the background music for the chase, like one of the lyrics is "I'm in love with an ostrich,"
Fair.
and if you decode it, it's pretty much like talking about being in love with an introvert.
Which is funnier than, or better than actually being in love with a feathered bird with long legs.
Yeah, because it basically says like they basically allude to the fact that while you're in love with this ostrich and you want them to be in their life, they put their head in the sand and like to get away from people. So
You have
they
to accept that.
Yep.
We're just saying.
Yep.
Ooh, itch. Oh, stingy itches. That's mean. Why are you not doing what you're supposed to do?
Because it doesn't like you.
A certain amount of truth to this. Really? I mean, like, I can see that you can go. For crying out loud. Yep. I gotta admit, my wife is an ostrich.
So is my husband.
It is true. You notice that that seems to be like the way couples roll out?
Mm-hmm. We've had this discussion before.
I think we have.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like I recall this particular discussion.
Yes. One's more talkative than the other. One's more outgoing than the other.
Makes for
Even
a good combo.
yeah. Even even
Oh, I know where it's leaking.
um the gut.
Yes. Still not going the right way. That's because that's light blue guy.
Hmm. What about the Swedish chef?
I'm just having issues.
Hmm?
I'm trying to fill her uniform in the correct colors. The good news is, as long as it's Chang talking to Bennett, they're in the same colors, which is very useful. And when I start having multiple characters in different uniforms, we've got issues because then the colors. Avalanche won 6-3.
And some crazy dude doing something crazy.
I was explaining to Donald that my mother used to call me out of the blue and give me scores all the
Hmm.
time. She just call and Avalanche up 6, Broncos are 14-0. And I'm just like out of nowhere. It was very funny. And now looking back at it, I really adore it and miss it and stuff like that. And so Donald is fulfilling that role tonight. Donald
Mm,
Donald will be playing the part of my mom. Okay.
okay.
The part of my mom will be played by Donald. But that was one of the things she would do all the time. And I was telling the story before you came on that my wife, who at the time wasn't even my girlfriend, she was just a buddy that hung out with us. One day she was at our house. We were having a big party, and she was there. And the rule in our house was if you were near the phone, you answered the phone. That was the rule,
Yeah.
especially because our house was huge and um, sometimes the phone would be parked somewhere on the wrong side of the house or whatever because that was just the nature of the beast. Okay.
Yeah.
She happened to be close by, so she answered the phone. And my mom did her, Broncos 21, Oakland Raiders 0. And then my wife Maya said, "Who is this?" Like that. Totally unimpressed. Later, my mom's talking to me, and who's the girl that answered? She was very rude. It's the only real time that Mariah had any interaction with my mom because my mom passed away before we started dating. And so, Mariah was just another buddy at the time, when we
Mhm.
started dating. So she was just somebody else, just one of those people. So mom didn't get to know her very well before she passed. So it's just this, that's my favorite story because, of course, we've all come to the conclusion now that had mom lived, she'd probably hate Mariah.
Well, I mean, me and Bill have discussed this. Had, had one of us been born female, if I was born female and I married Bill as a female,
This is
his
a
mother,
wild thing to think about. I actually like this.
yes, so
This is a fun,
his
cute.
mother outright said to him when he was younger that she prays for the woman that he marries because she'll never like her.
Well, he fixed that, didn't he?
Yeah. But um, I was just like, um, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm not a female. Thanks.
All right, that
Um,
cracks me up. That's funny though.
yeah,
I mean, but I'm humored by this. This is funny.
yeah. But with my family, it would have been a little bit different.
Well,
Um,
yeah, you
that's
you your situation was different though when you were younger and stuff.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I also said like we also talk about this stuff because, um, like both he and I have had a lot of what ifs in our life. So,
sure.
um,
I mean that my wife and I spend time what ifing.
yeah,
It's it's like a game you just play when you're with somebody for a very long time.
yeah, um, yeah. Like one what if is like, what if my ex-wife and me had children? You know,
Right. That
that's
would
on how that's on how I found out that Bill straight up said that he would never have dated me.
yeah, that would have been a messy thing. Hey Colton. Colton. Hey Colton. Okay, I'm just making I don't know. I'm having issues, Colton.
Hi, Colton.
We don't know what the issues are, but I'm having them. So there's that. All right. Getting in here and just painting like a madman. Welcome back, Pepper.
Hello.
From the land of the vid. Next weekend is Memorial Day. You can wear white after that. Just saying.
First, I want to say I've never followed that rule. I've never followed that rule ever. I have worn white in the middle of winter. Okay.
I don't even know anyone who does. I mean, I had a socialite for a grandmother, and even she wore white before Memorial Day. So I mean, I'm not even really sure. I think that's more now it's more of a wives' tale that we just say because it's funny than anything else, just to kind of press to the how weird some of the old rules were. If you're goth, you're fine, man. Man, speaking of ew,
Nope.
every time Brian wears that hat though, I have to say, fool of a took.
How's it going?
Hey Brian.
How are you?
I'm doing better than I was.
That's good.
He's less COVID-y.
The power of COVID repels you.
Yeah.
The power of COVID never really repelled me. The power of COVID, like,
Does annoy the hell out of you.
yeah.
The power of COVID did repel Brian. Oof. Brian has spent just one too many months dealing with COVID the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah, I came around the other side.
Yeah. Luckily.
So, how is it going this evening?
I'm experimenting, and I'm not sure what I think yet.
Oh,
Because here's what we've got so far, and I'll make this the big page again so you can take a look. And then I'll depurplize it because it's purpleized as usual. But this is where we are so far with kind of the experimenting of trying to put in shading, but using more like the Wallop shading that I've been using for painting and less cell shading and the hard cell shading. And I'm not 100% sure whether I like it or don't like it. I think I might like it. I haven't decided. So that's where I am. Indecisive.
it looks nice so far.
Yeah, I think so too. It's an extra hour on the page, but that's not a problem really. We're saving a lot of time on page, so. And Donald says hi. Neo Goth says Colton. And I'm going to stand up. Oh, says me.
I am. I am. I have an event this weekend, so tomorrow, if I get a negative COVID test, I'm actually able to go.
You can alert Colton. Just tell us real quickly. Just say, I'm drawing even as we speak. No, really. And we will go, oh, good. You're doing your job. And then we will have felt like we did our job and all will be good. So now back to you, Pepper. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just considering that you always enjoy interrupting me, so it's okay.
Yep. I mean, what?
What? Mm-hmm. No, it's alright. I was responding to Brian saying I am prepping for an event that I'm not going to have prints at. I'm not doing printing for an event coming up this weekend because there's still a lot of what ifs. Like, if I get a negative test result tomorrow, I'm allowed to go. If I don't get if I get a positive result tomorrow, I am effectively banned from this weekend.
When did you first test positive for COVID?
So not last weekend, the Friday of the previous weekend.
So the 13th.
Yes.
Oh, Friday the 13th. Boy, you had it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I also lost my luggage coming back home. I also had a bunch of other stuff go wrong on that trip, including getting COVID.
Okay.
Florida's chief export.
Are you still displaying symptoms?
Coughing. That's it.
Okay. But you don't have any of the other stuff?
No.
All right. So here's what's going to happen. You're outside your 10 days. So you're fine. If you take a COVID test, all the COVID test is going to do is be positive. Because,
Today I got a negative result.
okay.
Yeah, but that might be a false negative. What
No,
Brian's
I
saying.
followed everything to the T.
I know.
I followed everything to the T, and I looked at my
So,
results. Nothing was out of the
honestly, Pepper,
ordinary.
if anybody knows anything about COVID, it's poor Brian.
I did not get the hard strand. I got the weakest strand that's actually circulating right now.
Yes.
I did not lose any of my senses. I still have my sense of taste, still have my sense of smell, and I had it while I was going through COVID as well. I didn't get anything that was really strong in as far. I just have an annoying cough.
I'm going to go pick on my
Can
kiddo.
I finish?
Yes.
Okay. So, at the places I worked at, after you got COVID, 10 days, they didn't test you again for 90 days. Because all that'll do is give you a positive result for 90 days.
Right.
Afterward. You're past the 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be fine.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I understood what you were trying to say. Like I wasn't fighting you on that. What I was fighting was Guy.
What were you fighting me for?
Because you opened your mouth.
Oh, that's fair. Like, what did I say? You're like, nothing. Doesn't really matter. Oh, okay.
I have talked to the person who diagnosed us. They did not expect us to get a false positive on anything if we tested, because it was the weaker strand. If that helps, they're finding that people bounce back quicker with the weaker strand.
Well, yeah, because I mean, especially if you've gotten vaccinated and all that, that's definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're much better protected against that strain.
Mm.
So, what did you think of the covers I sent you, Guy?
I liked them.
Well, I didn't see them, so I can't really relate. I'm sorry.
He's saying because he hates you.
I did not say that. Don't put words in their mouth.
You're the one picking on me. You get picked on back. I liked him.
Well, you know what? Normally, Guy, you're picking on everyone. So
I
you know
always
what?
pick
And
on people. Yep.
I've been gone for a while. I just want to pick on you.
Exactly. I'm okay with it. It's all good. I loves you too.
Mm.
Yeah, I liked him just fine. What I was thinking was whenever I was saying that was I wasn't going to respond at that moment because I thought if I say they're good, you'd be like, well, that's not enough. And if I couldn't give you a detailed response because I couldn't like say, well, you should do this or this or this, because if I did that, then I'd be like, well, it's like,
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to defend it and come up with a more reasonable,
That and I was out of the house at the time.
Why am I doing that? That's not there. That one. And
It's
yes,
already
Colton,
different
that's
out
good
there.
enough.
Now are these two images, are they
Front cover, back cover.
okay? And are they fully complete, or are you still working on them?
No, they're fully complete.
Okay.
These are the important questions because we need to ask you whether you thought that was a good idea to do X, Y, or Z. Yeah.
Okay. And what are the main notes that you want to actually know if you got right, or if I like them?
Yeah, just how do you feel about them?
Okay, maybe this is just me or my preferences, but the feathers kind of distract my eyes.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's part of your logo or not.
Yeah, that is.
So, but the feathers, for me, the feathers kind of are like, they make it like, I understand that you have like white text going over it. Um, but the feathers distract me. Like, I have a hard time reading the actual text
Okay.
because of those. Um, I mean, the background seems good. The composition is, the shoulders look a little bit high, like she's kind of hunching. Is that supposed to be that way?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And that fits.
That fits. Um, yeah, I like the front cover. The back cover seems very plain compared to the front.
Well, and I was looking at other back covers, and they're just like synopsis, so I just wanted to keep it simple.
Okay.
As long as that was your
So
plan.
are you planning on putting like some type of wording on there? Is that the other reason why you have more simplistic stuff?
No, I just have no idea what to put back there.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have enough good room for UPC codes. You have good room for maybe a short blurb if you want it. If this is like a thicker comic book. Other than that, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to fill those spaces with some light text, or just like I said, the UPC code and the ISBN number, well, like right next to it, I think that's easily done with the back cover, and I think that would work out really well.
I don't know how to get any of that stuff.
We can
Well,
help you. We'll help you with that. That's not a problem.
for the most part, if you do a UPC code, you want to buy 10 in advance because it's $75 for up to like 10 at a time.
You mean
Otherwise, you're
10?
buying one at a time for $75.
Mm. Okay, makes sense.
If that makes sense. So yeah. Oh, and Colton, yes, I did lighten my hair. I forgot to respond.
I actually like it. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Um,
We
it's
haven't
going to be
had an
changed once
opportunity to
more.
tell you that.
It's going to be changed again.
It's all
Like
right.
come June 2nd, it's going to be changed again. It's going to be gray and purple.
I like it as it is. It looks cool. I'm sure I will like it as gray and purple. Although it is interesting how much it changes you. Like, there would be a good chance that if you ran into me at a supermarket, if you didn't say anything, it would take me a second. You know what I mean? Like, I find it so fascinating how much our hair color defines, how we look and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. You would be just fine. But I am intrigued by the idea that you would change your hair color and I would suddenly go, who is that? Oh, that's Pepper, you know.
Mm,
There'd be a moment of, the hell is going on?
well, it threw people that normally see me around here. Um, Bill wanted to go out for breakfast, so we went and sat down at a place that we normally sit down at. Luckily, they didn't put anyone else around us that was close, so that was good. Um, but uh, yeah, it was interesting to say the least because I sat down and
Way too much sun in Florida. I agree.
I never actually used sun-in. I always used lemon juice and water, sprayed it in my hair, and that's what actually blondified my hair in the summer in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Um, but yeah, congrats on Volume 2 for to be done.
I'm happy about it.
At least you're not making more star charts.
It's true. I was going to make more star charts. Where's Brent to get all bent out of shape about that? Although somebody was talking about something earlier today on one of the Star Trek forums, and they're like, you know, everything looks so. What's wrong with, or what's going on with all of these, you know, different ways of Star Trek doing stuff? And I'm like, it's because in real life, nothing looks like you think it does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like in real light, all of those nebula, you know, they're dusty, and even if you were inside the Orion Nebula, you really wouldn't see it very well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, you know, so Star Trek's already kind of doing the weird stuff with you know, all the blues and the reds and these dynamic colors because you never really see that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about that, and I was like, there's a certain amount of suspension of disbelief that you just kind of have to go with science fiction. And it's always going to be there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of one of those things. So star charts, I'm good with where they are. Anything further than this is a suspension of disbelief moment. Even though I don't think that Brent will ever believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love sun tea. You don't need to make that in Florida. You can just stick it on your back patio. In fact, we make great sun tea here, full of
Um,
vitamins and UV
First of all,
radiation.
I just want to point out Florida sun tea completely different than everywhere else.
It's full of alligators.
Mm-hmm. It's full of alligators. It's also most likely orange blossom black tea, which is like not outside of Florida. You only can drink it in Florida and find it in Florida.
Yeah, you're not allowed to drink it anywhere else. They come and get you. It's pretty brutal.
Exactly. It's essentially basically orange blossoms that are picked so that you don't have an overabundance of oranges on your trees put into tea, black tea.
Yep.
And then you put a bunch of like lemons and stuff in it as well.
All right. So that's a complete page, I don't think it's bad. I think it actually looks pretty cool. I think that'll be fine.
Here's your tea cubes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if I'd want to drink tea that had been contaminated with cosmic radiation. It seems bad. I don't know. I don't know.
No,
Might
no,
be.
no, no. It's good. It's good. It builds character. Puts
It
hair on
builds
your
character.
chest.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Mm. I don't know. My niece eats more dirt than anyone else that I know.
That's true. I actually have been kind of wondering, though. I mean, jokes aside, kind of pondering what is it that they drink? I mean, did somebody remember to save black tea leaves, black tea seeds?
Mm.
If not, what are they drinking? You know, how far out is their when they drink coffee? Are they drinking coffee, or are they drinking Ractigino? It does make me think.
Mm.
Yep, it is true.
Oh, my brain is mush this evening.
Yeah, mine is too. I'm not doing so good on this one. I mean, I'm glad I kind of colored this in, but I am still kind of like, I don't know, I can't think it through very easily. If you're saying Thai tea, I'm sure. I'm not sure if you're saying Thai tea or you're saying Tia tea.
Thai tea.
That's what I think he's saying too. We could probably wrap this page up pretty quickly too. So let's go ahead and just spin up. Yep. Hone was the other day on the show with that orange sweet tea. Yeah. Hone was at like a coffee shop or something with second breakfast. I don't know what they were doing, but they were out tootling around. And it was kind of,
So they became a hobbit?
yeah.
Yep. And that's what Guy just made it sound like.
Yeah.
You know who second breakfast is, right?
Oh, isn't that his friend?
Yeah. The
Okay.
the buddy that was helping him out. That's important because, like, I could see how you would see that as a different thing.
Well,
Without
it's also the
clarification.
way you constructed the sentence,
Yeah,
because
right.
you didn't say, they were out and about with
Right,
second
right.
breakfast, their friends. You said they went to a coffee shop with
Breakfast. Yeah, I get it.
and it's like,
I follow. I understand that I didn't say it right. So I follow. Hobbits in Thailand, film at 11. I have a feeling Second Breakfast's comment or Second Breakfast's handle is definitely hobbity in some way. Hibbity hobbity who. 6-1.
One half a dozen of another.
No. It does? Okay. Now we check.
I can thank Duolingo, by the way, for the brilliant idea of a new story
Uh-oh.
that I'm not going to dwell on obsessively, but I got it.
Nope. Oh, man. I hope I make it tonight. To the end of the night. The end of the night. Good news is I probably will sleep really well. Not something I've been doing pretty well recently. So
I haven't either.
I just realized that they paid me and one other person to do the same card in the game, and they didn't publish my version of the card
because they don't like you. That's page 8.
I know they don't like me. You don't need to tell me that.
Right?
How productive was that?
It wasn't very productive. Didn't help anybody. Didn't help you. Didn't help me. Didn't help anybody. Nobody
No,
got helped by that.
it helped one person. It helped your conscience because I've been picked again.
That's all it helped was my stupid conscience.
Yep.
Who even cares about that dumb thing anyway? Look, you came in here before to get scritches, and now you're back in here again to get scritches. Oh,
Of
no, you
course.
want George
Scritch-
lives for scritches.
The scritches are life.
All right.
So, what's your plans for the week?
Well, continuing on for me.
Mine are legitimately research and trying not to have coughing fits. But I think I got some heartburn.
Ooh.
So that's why I'm coughing.
No, that sucks. And you're not getting any better over there. What about you, Bri? Now that you've accomplished number 2, are you moving to number 3?
Yeah, I'm starting writing.
There you go.
I'm trying to figure out. I kind of have the beats of this issue, but I don't know. So I guess the first thing I need to do is I really need to sit down and just go, what are the three big arcs for this issue?
Oh, you've got wires wrapped around a tree in your driveway, Donald? Oh, that sucks.
So I've been building up, and I have three. I have a couple of storylines.
Mm-hmm.
This issue. One of them is Brig training Mammy on how to use her powers.
Okay.
I have Rosa uh, learning about what's happening in the outside world. And then I have uh, Mr. Sunshine now. He's paying his first visits to um, Brig. And I have those three storylines now coming in. I don't know how to tackle them.
Gotcha.
Do I have each storyline as its own issue?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I would say each storyline is each issue if you can, because that would give you more issues.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, the more pages, the better.
Yeah, well this is definitely my four issue ideal comic is becoming a lot bigger, but
Mm-hmm.
it's becoming a lot more concise too. So
Fair. Do they need to merge or do they need to affect each other without direct contact? It's a good question, actually.
what?
The storylines.
No, they don't have direct contact with one another right now. Um,
The storylines.
the storylines are kind of compact with each other. They're their own individual thing. Um, Rose's storyline sets off events for the comic on a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Brig's storyline with Mammy sets off a personal relationship, and they become closer during this book. I think I should focus on that.
That's what I think too. That one, I was about to say, that one sounds like the obvious choice.
Because I always kind of looked at this book as being the sweet one, where this is where two of the characters form this relationship in which later on you can feel the pain.
Then the longer you have it, the better we are.
Okay.
Got them all planned out.
I have no idea. He said something. What'd you say?
I said nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
It did not sound like got along manga because it's what it sounded like to me. Because yay, ADD.
Yeah. No, I was just basically stating that I got everything set up for um, what I need to do for as far as like going
Oh, cool.
Texas. So
Sounds like a thing. Good job. Good job.
uh, now I just have to work on something while we do that.
Gotta have a fiddle in the band, huh? It's like the thing I just saw, which was like, and the devil whispered in my ear and said, "You cannot succeed." And I whispered back, "You're the one that lost the golden fiddle."
That's as random as I
That's
don't.
pretty good.
I'm not sure. I've never heard of a fiddle in a Texas band. I've heard of a fiddle in the North Carolinas, or sorry, in North and South Carolina, but I've never heard of a fiddle in Texas.
They fiddle.
Hmm.
Although my dad violined. So there's that.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it's right up there with like me discovering I have a full sheet separated from everything else that I've written so far that just states the Cajun Star Traveler and his famous gumbo.
Oh, that's right. That was actually really funny. The
What?
Charlie Daniels, hate to say this, but the Charlie Daniels song comes from not Texas.
Comes from
It comes from
Georgia.
Georgia. They went down to Georgia looking for a
Yeah,
stole to steal.
yeah. The,
He was
the
in a
Tex-
bind because he was way behind and willing to make a deal.
yeah. The only reason why I know the fiddle is in the Carolinas is when I was a kid, I went to North Carolina, and I've actually heard the people play them
Mm-hmm.
like on patios and porches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I got dad's violin, but it's not a fiddle. It's a violin. It is Charlie Daniels. It is indeed. You can go Google that song.
go right ahead. I've listened to it probably once every like 3 weeks, so
Yeah.
I know it pretty well.
I like the one, the parody of that. The devil went to Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. Are you listening to it now? Or is this? Oh, it's creepy. It's the creepy music. Creepy music is being creepy. Nice. Says you two are on. You two are the creepy people. You write creepy stories.
I don't write creepy stories. You write creepy stories.
Your mom writes creepy stories.
My mom doesn't write creepy stories.
Your face writes creepy stories. I'm feeling so childish all of a sudden.
Okay, so doing this at night, by the way, I'm definitely not used to it.
There you go. There you go, Donald. Sent you one by Michelle Lambert.
Yes, Alabama does sing the song, but Charlie Daniels is the one that actually sung it first. But it's still not Texas. So Goosebumps, Stephen King, Halloween, no scary stories. Goosebumps and Halloween, I can totally get behind. Stephen King is my least favorite horror author, anyway. So unpopular opinion. The only reason why I don't like his writing is it's predictable.
King?
Yep.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of tropes.
Yep. You're not going to hear me disagree.
He invented a lot of trope.
To be fair, it's kind of like Star Trek. You can't watch the original series Star Trek and say, it's so tropey. Because a lot of those, well, frankly, it made those tropes.
like now you can look at it and predict it. It's like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then this is gonna. He's so tropey. And then when you look back at the time, it's like, no, he was inventing the tropes we now beat him over the head with.
Some of the stuff, though, like Christine, the Living Car, they kind of did that in Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
So that one he definitely did not make.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be realistic here. There was something broken in Rod Serling.
There was nothing wrong. There was nothing broken with Rod Serling. He was a genius, an undervalued
he
genius.
Totally wrote like 500 episodes, and they were all so good, so good. And so it's like there was
we
something.
don't talk about season 4 because that was not his work.
No, but everything short of that. I mean, even like later on, he was still writing stuff, and you're like, where is this man thinking? You know, it's like just insane. Beautiful work.
Yeah.
There was time now. Time.
Alfred Hitchcock. Same thing. Him and Rod Serling wrote a lot of tropes. Yeah. Both of them wrote a lot of tropes that Stephen King kind of piggybacked off of. But a lot of people don't know the other two's work well enough to state that it's actually Stephen King or not. And they think Stephen King did it. So it's like some of the stuff, yes, I get Stephen King wrote certain things that definitely are now tropey now that he first came up with.
Yeah. That was what we were saying is you can't really blame like original series Star Trek for being tropey since it set those tropes.
But I kind of like original tropiness because the original tropiness is fun to watch.
Yep. I'm a Trekkie. There's nothing wrong with its tropiness. I'm just saying newbies come to the old series and they're like, well, a little tropey. And I'm like, it set those tropes.
Yeah, but also The Shining was not necessarily the first horror story that I actually heard of where the father goes insane and tries to kill the family.
Well, no, that's a normal
No,
thing.
that's Jack Nicholson's entire career.
I
Right.
know, right?
We're just saying.
I mean, having the redhead outcast get psychic powers and be drenched in pig's blood on prom. I mean, I have to hand it to him. He did create that.
Sundog freaked me out, though. I mean, of all of them, I liked Sundog and Four Past Midnight. That was
But like, I'm talking like books like The Fog.
You mean The Mist?
Yeah, The Mist. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I didn't. I didn't Freudian slip there. But
Well, and The Mist was the book version of The Mist was different than the movies.
also different than the TV show.
Yeah.
The first of all, the books are always translated very differently. Stephen King's books and Stephen King movies don't always match up.
And you have to look at the different eras. Like Stephen King during the 70s and 80s, when he was going through alcoholism and a
and
cocaine addiction,
Yeah.
is a completely different writer than 2000s on Stephen King when he sobered
Yeah,
up
'cause
and got clean.
He took the '90s off to sober up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, he had his two kids with his wife, and they raised them.
4 kids.
4 kids. Oh, I only know about his son and daughter. I didn't know he had four.
Orchids. He has orchids.
Four,
Um,
4 kids.
Just
Oh,
hanging out in his backyard. All these orchids, along with some tulips.
okay.
he's being a sarcastic asshole.
I am. It's mostly because that's what I'm hearing half the time because of my stupid, like, processing problems, audio processing problems.
So
So it's not necessarily that I'm being a jerk. I'm actually like, what the hell? He has orchids? What is it? Oh, never mind. He means 4 kids. Gotcha. But then I have to say it because it's stupid. And I'm like, that's what I thought.
so he has his daughter, Joe Hill is a big author now.
Well, Joe Hill's work is. I have to say this because Joe Hill writes comics, and so therefore I like his writing style more.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that the two are related half the time.
Well,
I didn't know
and
they were
Joe
related.
actually did that on purpose because
It makes sense.
he didn't want to piggyback on his father's name.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But you have Owen that's putting out books now, and he's doing some really interesting shit.
Well, my whole problem with Owen though is he is using his dad.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. But the reason why I kind of respect Joe for not doing it is he went a completely different direction. He went a completely different format of writing and creating.
Yeah, and then
No,
he came back and he started doing like Nosferatu is an amazing book.
hmm
Like that one's really cool.
Yeah, but his adaptations are more faithfully done because of the way he writes.
Yeah.
Which the main reason why Stephen King's books and movies and TV shows don't line up properly is because the way Stephen King writes, it's hard, to film.
Yes.
They always have to change it so that it's something similar but not the same because of either technology or like if they redid Carrie for like audiences today, I think that they could do a lot different and a lot better because we have CGI.
They already
I was to
redid
say, I thought they did
Carrie.
do Carrie. Didn't they
Yeah.
do
They
Carrie?
redid Carrie, but they called it Carrie 2.
No, they did a proper remake of Carrie recently.
Yeah, I think they did too.
I'm looking this up because if they did, I ignored it.
You missed it.
But like they're in the middle of redoing Firestarter, and I want to see that.
That one's a short. It's a mini series, right? That one.
No, they're also doing a movie.
They are doing a movie.
I believe so. Firestarter 2022 film.
Okay.
Oh, it's already out?
Okay.
Really? I can go see it tonight. Or no, not tonight. Tomorrow.
Wow. I was going to say, you don't want to see it tonight. We're all going to go to bed somewhere online here. Only a matter of time.
Why haven't I heard anything regarding this movie? Oh God, it's got an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's why.
62% like this movie. 4.6 out of 10 IMDb.
So based off of this trailer so far, I can surmise that they are a little bit more faithful to the Stephen King novel. Especially seeming that she is playing with her abilities, her mental abilities, a lot more, a lot differently. The mother figure is way more outlandish. Um, and just by watching the trailer, I can legitimately just picture the entire movie. So, kind of happy that I can skip watching this.
That's fair. Humorous, but fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy
Yeah,
with not watching it.
yeah, and like some of the stuff they have done an amazing, like the first movie for it. That was a great movie. That was really well done. The second
Yeah.
one was good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was good. It was decent. Um,
I was told that they still ex-nayed a certain thing from the book in the first movie,
yes,
which a lot of people don't talk about is the underage sex.
yes, that she
Which,
has with the entire group,
yeah,
and I can see that, and that's perfectly fine that that got left on the cutting
but
room
it
floor.
also makes the second part of the story, the movie, the second movie, completely weird and leaves a lot of unexplained things for the reason why there's like a bunch of the people that are mentally messed up.
Mm, not really.
Well, okay, first of all, there's like basically the second movie, like they have like the straight up suicide right at the very beginning of it when
Yes.
people are coming back to the town.
Yes.
The first movie didn't set the reason up for it really clearly.
Yes, it did. So how it set it up in the first one was he got his face almost bitten off by Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the second movie, he still has the scars from him going down his face.
Okay.
And
That was not something that I noticed.
yeah, he had all the scars. And so he realized that if he fought Pennywise, he would get them killed
Mm-hmm.
because the trauma was too great from almost being eaten by him the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that setup.
Mm-hmm.
The other setup to return has to do with um, um, Eddie and Trash Mouth. I can't think of his name. Oh Christ! Tozier, the comedian.
Yeah.
Those two were in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the music just totally got dramatic for that.
Yeah, and so they came back to kind of see each other and see if there was something still there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you had uh, the dynamic with Ben and the writer. I can't think of the writer's name. Uh, stuttering Bill, Ben and Bill and Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
So you had those, and then you had um, uh, can't think of his name now. Why can't I think of these character names? Probably because it's 11:30 at night.
I was gonna say,
This is a conversation for like our previous time. I just wanna. This is starting to get very in depth, and seems like
Mike.
a morning.
So Mike stayed, and he's the only one that truly remembered.
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember pretty much like I don't know. Basically, when I first saw the Stephen Curry's It, I know that one is not nostalgic reasons. That one's good. The second one was more faithful to the book, except for certain things, which um, they still had a few deleted scenes that would have made it a lot better.
Yeah.
Um,
So
because it,
so so the Tim Curry version. Tim Curry made a wonderful Pennywise.
yeah,
The problem with the Tim Curry one is the same problem the new one has, and that is the children's stories are fantastic. They are wonderfully written and really well done.
hmm
And then it falls apart when it gets to the adults because the horror is different and they don't know how quite to do that aspect of the horror.
but also at the same time, if you read the book, it's kind of he does the children part very well, but when they are adults, he does it very wrong. Like it's not the same. it's not the same.
No, the horror is, as adults, the horror is different
Yeah,
because
it's
as adults they can understand things differently, and so it shifts from being this personal nightmare of being in school and dealing with growing up
hmm
to suddenly you're dealing with cosmic horror.
right.
Now,
And I
my
hmm
my thought on what they could have done, which actually would have made the story very interesting, is bring in Stanley's wife. So they call Stanley. Stanley commits suicide.
yeah,
At that point, I almost would have had it where Stanley's wife comes in and says, I want to know what happened to my husband, why he suddenly committed suicide when you guys called. And she's the outsider looking in, and you get to
but
experience a different brand of horror, and that is loss and regret. And I
yeah,
think if you start pushing into that kind of horror, so you have everybody else that's dealing with trauma, and then you have this new kind of trauma and horror that she's going through that Pennywise is feeding off of, and it would have made that story so much better.
hmm
That she is going through loss and agony, and Pennywise would have just been playing that up
yeah,
to teach the others a lesson, as it were. And I think that could have been very, very interesting to do, but
yeah. I think what it falls back to is again goes back to Stephen King's way of writing
yeah,
becoming a little bit predictable at times. And when he did move from the children to the adults in the book, he did the most predictable thing when he did it, and that's why the later half of the book is probably not as good, and
probably.
the second movie is not as good. But we can pick pick it apart all we want. There are some people that like totally disagree with what I'm saying. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love The Stand, Donald. I absolutely love The Stand. I hated the new version of The Stand.
Mm.
Um, like the 1994 miniseries is just about perfect.
um,
Within reason. I mean, it's a made for TV miniseries. But when they went back and remade it, they took out the whole character introductions. They ripped out everything that had to do with who these people are.
yeah,
So it starts out with everybody's already dead and we're going right into the stand, and you're missing the whole Captain Trips part with the super flu coming in and wiping out everybody, and them having to survive through the apocalyptic times to get to the stand.
And did we mention Flag? Because we'd like to mention Flag. We need to mention Flag. Did we mention that?
Well, Flag is always Flag. Flag is cool. And at
Flag
this
is.
point, I am convinced that Stephen King is collecting Skarsgårds to play in his films. He's got to he's got to get them all.
There you go.
I'm I'm pretty certain. that you're correct in that. I was surprised that in Under the Dome, the TV series, one of them didn't make an appearance. Yes, Under the Dome was originally written by Stephen King.
Yeah, because he has Bill and he has Alexander.
Mm-hmm. He just needs the one. He just needs the second brother, I believe.
Gustav and maybe Sam. But yeah, he's just sitting back, just collecting Skarsgårds to play his villains.
Mm. Don't get me wrong. I entertainment value. I can see the entertainment value in anything that Stephen King writes. That's not the issue with me. My issue is the way he writes. That's
Yeah,
all. It's just for me, like even without the tropiness that is described for what I see, um, unfortunately, the reason why I just get bored with it the way that he writes. It literally is boring to me at a certain point. If I'm like having to read, like when I was reading it, like the first thing that I ever had to read for Stephen King was in high school, and that was for an assignment, um, like a literature assignment, and we were studying the horror genre. And I went over to my teacher and I was like, "Can I get a different book, please?" And they were like, "Well, your reading level, you shouldn't be able to read anything else but this one." And I was like, "I have 0% interest in this, and it's boring the living daylights out of me." They're like, "What? Too many big words?" And I was like, "No, I
Bad
don't like
grammar.
the book. Can I read something else, please?" It took me a while, but I finally got another book to read, um, which is kind of surprising that I'm talking about a private school that was linked to the Catholic Church, and I'm talking about a horror novel, which typically you don't hear the Catholic schools endorsing. Um,
which is strange because some of the best horror authors were Catholic.
yeah, I know, right? Um, Catholicism breeds a lot of
Greediness.
no, a lot of horror because of well,
Catholicism.
Catholicism. Yeah, in general, yes, you are correct. Um, but yeah, like they were like, "Yeah, your reading level, you can understand this with no problem." I'm like, "I have no problem understanding it. It's just boring the living daylights out." And at that point, I had only been reading for horror genre at the time. It was either Goosebumps or Edgar Allan Poe. That was like my two horror go tos at that point in my life.
Be like po bumps.
Yeah. So Goosebumps and Edgar Allan Poe. So
And of course, you bring in the Axe Band into this, and yeah,
yeah, I think I actually ended up reading, just doing a reading of collective works of Edgar Allan Poe for the assignment.
I mean, his stuff is so beautiful. It's really well written.
Oh yeah, but I always loved the English teachers that thought I would never understand what he was writing. So glad that that English teacher in general is, from what I know, is passed away. So happy about that.
Yeah, I see the my one that I have problems with is Lovecraft. Like Lovecraft
Hold
has.
on. I need to ask this question for clarification. Are you about to say about what he's written, or are you talking about his personal life? Because if it's personal life, I don't want to go there. I just want to talk about what he's written.
I'm just talking about what he's written.
Thank you. Okay.
Of course, now I'm horribly, horribly curious, but that's okay.
We're not
The
going to get
best
into.
way I've heard him described is he is not a bundle of issues. He's a bundle. He is not a bundle of issues. He is a bundle of issues in the shape of a man.
You have to divorce his personal viewpoints away from his actual literature.
Writing. That makes sense. There's a number of people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in reality, everyone says that he's like this or that or something. But essentially, what it boils down to, and I'm only saying this because my father's side is from Rhode Island, like where my father was born, and H.P. Lovecraft is there everywhere. And all I gotta say is the man hated everyone. You're right. He was just a bundle of issues.
Yeah. So my problem with Lovecraft is he has a laughable misunderstanding of everything. And so it makes it very painful to read his stuff because it's like that's not how things work.
So
And
I
I'm trying to avoid the elephant in the room, which is the horrible racism that's also present in his works.
I have talked about this with other people, and I want to point this out. He has multiple stories, where he talks about idiots and stupid people. And he uses very wordy words to describe stupid and idiotic in his stories. And these people he's talking about, before I say anything, are white. They are white backgrounds. They are English. They are British. They are German. They're whatever. These people are white, which I'm about to talk about. They are not, I repeat, these are not the works which are outright racist to people of color or anything else. These are white folks. Okay?
Well, because the dude was racist to everybody that was outside of Providence, Rhode Island.
Exactly.
Yeah.
like,
Like,
actually, he was racist towards pretty much every single. It wasn't really racist. He just hated He hated people in general to the point of no one was safe from it. And if you lived outside of Providence, Rhode Island, it was probably worse.
it definitely was worse.
But he describes men of well-to-do means going and hunting down the white tribe of Africa in one story.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, folks. He literally does that in one of his stories.
Yes, he does.
And not only that, he does it multiple times.
Yes.
And he says it caused problems with multiple generations of families. I'm not joking.
Like,
He just hated people. Period.
and then
Okay.
he also hated math,
Mm-hmm.
um, AC, He didn't understand the concept of AC.
Yeah.
Infrared and infrared light and
Mm-hmm.
ultraviolet light. Um, Farming.
Yeah.
Uh,
Actually, hold on. Wasn't just farming. It was anything outside outdoor activity.
oh yeah, you're right. You're right. It
Any
was
outdoor activity he hated.
painting. That was
Mm-hmm.
another one. Um,
Basically, he he strived to do so much in his life that when he realized he couldn't do something well, he stopped enjoying it and literally said, "I hate this."
and you should too.
And you should too. Yes, that is exactly what it was. So if he had one person from one ethnic background or cultural background say something mean to him, he now hated that race or that culture or whatever. And that's been proven multiple times.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't want to say that H.P. Lovecraft, if he was born today, would be on spectrum, but the dude had some issues, like major mental health issues.
Boy didn't have issues. Boy had volumes.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He had
Um,
subscriptions.
but something should be said. The fact that in his early childhood, his father was in and out of a mental asylum. His mother was the same way. Um, he was raised by other family members that were not mentally stable as well. We are talking literally about a person who became at a certain point was agoraphobic as well. Like,
and and he was essentially a neat.
yeah,
Like they didn't even have close to that term back then. But you look at him and you go, okay, this guy is like classic Japanese neat all the way through.
yeah. Like I think what was it the like right up until his death. I think he was in his home. He never left.
No, he when he got married, they moved to New York and he hated it so much he moved back and
Right,
divorced her.
I was just
right.
saying, he got married.
Yes,
Yeah.
he got married because depends on which recounting of the marriage experience. If you got the stepdaughters or the stepchildren that H.P. Lovecraft had with his ex-wife, or his ex-wife in general, um, essentially, a lot of people wondered if H.P. Lovecraft was gay. Big, like, rumors about it. Then he got married to a woman. His ex-wife did say they had relations, and there was no problem with it. Like, she said he was very adequate at what he did.
That was nice.
So, I mean, that's one way of putting it. Um, but his stepchildren, to this day, don't want any association with him. Like the family, no, they didn't even want his collective works, like his original writings. No, they wanted none of that. They didn't want anything to do with them, and that is based off of his personality. It was like that bad.
Oh yeah, he was toxic as hell.
Yeah, like he like for the most part, everyone says like if he was in a different environment, he would have come out differently.
Yeah, if you dumped enough drugs in him, he would have turned out
Yeah.
differently.
Oh yeah. Um, I don't think. I just don't think that like people don't realize like on how many bad mental unstable things that man probably had to live with on a daily basis. At all. Um,
And we're not even talking about the inherited stuff.
yo, no, I'm not even gonna go into that. That's like a can of worms in its own right. Um, yeah, I think was it the I would have to say that from my experience of being in Rhode Island, almost every single thing that he writes about, like scenery wise or anything like that, I can go to a different part of Rhode Island and actually know what part he was writing based off of the geographic information in his books.
Yeah.
They're always set in Rhode Island, folks. Like I'm not
Sure. Well,
not joking.
that's King's always set in Maine. It's
Yeah, it's like I
I
horror
mean, to be
authors.
fair, it's like
Yeah,
it's not
because
just that. I'm putting all of my Earth stuff is going to be based here in Arvada. I mean, I know
yeah.
Arvada, so might as well make it.
And then it goes back to like Edgar Allan Poe. Everything was in Boston or Massachusetts.
Yep.
I thought it was Baltimore.
Was it? Who am I thinking of? Boston, Massachusetts horror
Somebody.
or older? Am I thinking of someone that that's from the same time period of H.P. Lovecraft?
Let's see. Poe was born in Boston, but he died in Baltimore.
Because I know his early works, the way that the city's described is like old Boston,
Yeah, that could be.
and then his later works are more like Baltimore.
Yeah, that makes sense. That pans out.
Yeah, because yeah, that yeah, that's another person that I'm not going to go on the rabbit hole of that one.
That's all right. You've got 1 minute, so whatever rabbit hole you get into,
It better be a fast rabbit hole.
better be a
Dip
quick
that
rabbit
toe
hole.
in there.
No, but with H.P. Lovecraft, I just can understand why people dislike him. I like him, but that's just because I understand the level of hate that he has for everyone and everything. Not because I have it myself,
Just
but
because
I'm
you
also going
understand
to
it.
call myself out because I do kind of have a bit of that. I like who I like. If I dislike someone, I wouldn't talk to them.
Hey, that means you like us. He likes us, Brian.
Yay! No,
I don't actively try to avoid you two, so that should tell you right there that I like you.
well, and look, just think, Pepper, this conversation was on the same level of Guy and Bill talking about Star Trek.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Pepper, I just sat here and kept working. Just kept working.
I mean, talking about different horror authors, I gotta say, when I was a kid, R.L. Stine is a gateway, but I had older sisters that read them, and I read them based off of that. And then I think one day, one of my teachers, I think I was like in third or fourth grade. No, had to have been fifth grade. No, fourth grade, because it was Mrs. Lasanki, which was my fourth grade teacher. She had me do the thing on Poe after seeing me with a Goosebumps book. So
Yeah,
yeah.
see, I started on Stein. I went to Poe. Seventh grade, I read The Stand, which should tell you quite a bit about me. Um,
my Stephen King I got bored off was Christine.
I could see that. I could see that.
It
No,
was just so boring. It was.
yeah, and I went for the absolute worst book a middle school student could read, and it was the book that never ended.
Yeah. Uh, um, I think what was it? Who else?
All right.
The original Conan author is another one that I read in school.
Oh, Doyle, yeah.
Yeah.
Arthur Conan Doyle. He did Tarzan too.
Yep. I believe that's what we read was Tarzan. And then it wasn't until later I found out that Conan the Barbarian is actually based in the same universe as H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu.
Somehow that does not even remotely surprise me.
They co-wrote a lot of stuff, so the worlds collided a lot.
Yeah.
The Green Man, the green alien looking like men that Conan fights are actually Cthulhu's worshippers.
Kashorpathers.
Yep. So, all right,
Okay.
guys.
It's after
It is
midnight.
time for us to go to bed.
So,
You people.
well, if we could do this earlier,
Then I'd be conflicting with other things in the night. You know how that goes.
yeah.
And actually, we're doing great. I don't have any problem with it. I'm going to just put in white or not. I'm going to apparently completely freak out this. Oh, it's because I'm tired. I really need to go to bed. You
All
need
right.
to go to bed. I need to go to bed. We all need to go to bed. Okay, let's run the end credits. We'll see you
All right.
guys. I'm going to be tomorrow. I'll be up doing this tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have to do anything tomorrow, so I might as well just keep plugging. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning if you want to join me. If you don't, that's totally cool. I will see all of you guys later. Otherwise, and good night. Good night.
Good night.